Dan Geltrude is back with us. Gary Kaltbaum back with us. Dan, what do you make of these? When investment firms start laying off workers, they're the ones who try to present the best view of the world, that we'll get through this, that it isn't so bad. It's bad enough for them to start jettisoning workers. What do you make of it?
Well, when you're going to start trying to measure what's happening with the economy, Neil, there's a couple places I look. What's going on in banking? What's going on in retail? What's going on with shipping? So if we look at banking and looking at Goldman Sachs, what's happening? Well, they're not doing deals. That's one piece of it. And going forward, Neil, what's that loan pipeline going to look like? Because if businesses are not borrowing, that means they're not looking at expanding their operations. So not a good sign. And of course, you've talked about what's happening with retail. Those numbers are down. Even though in inflation that's driving prices higher, it means people are buying a lot less stuff. And then, of course, in shipping, FedEx, laying people off, it looks like a trifecta there for me.
All right, but we've been mentioning as well, they have full glass, Gary, the people who are still going out to Darden restaurants and Olive Garden, and maybe not for just the breadsticks, but that there is that side of the economy. Do you think that's the last to give? How do you see it?
Unfortunately, I do. I've told you this, I think, 100 times recently, Neil, and that is the savings rates plunging and credit card usage is skyrocketing. And that's a 1-2 punch that shows that the consumer's getting close to what I wouldn't call it the end, but trouble ahead. So I'm real worried right here. I think the market's speaking loud and clear. The rally that started October 13th ended this week. I think we're back in the bear market, and I think it's based on the fact that the market is flushing out, and you're seeing it in a lot of economic numbers now, and you saw it even in retail this week. That trouble lies ahead, and I don't think the central bankers have any clue what's going on the ground, and they are determined to go to 5%. Plus, even though the 10-year is backed off below 3.5%, indicating trouble with demand.
Yeah, I heard Dan, one of the district presidents, his name escapes me, he said, we want to get that Fed funds rate higher than the inflation rate. And I'm thinking to myself, whoa, we've got a little ways to go here. What do you think of that strategy here? You know, fire all the torpedoes.
Well, it's a tall order, Neil, that's going to bring on a lot of pain. And before, Mark Tepper was talking on your show, and I thought it was a great point because he made reference to sticky inflation related to wage inflation, right? So wage inflation up 5%. You know, Neil, that is a really tough number to get down because as people have begun to make more money, it's hard to take that away. Many states increasing minimum wage. So when you have that built into the system, businesses have no choice but to pass that along to the consumer to the greatest extent possible. That makes it really, really hard to get inflation under control. Now, the Fed is going to keep at it with raising interest rates. And again, it's going to be a very painful road. And at what point do we get where we can get inflation and rates under control? I think we have a long way to go here.
Gary, what about real estate? Fifth straight week we've seen mortgage rates go down. Could that be a silver lining?
The good news is the 10-year yield is down from 4.3% to under 3.5%. The bad news is just 14 months ago, Neil, the 10-year was at 1%. So it's still way higher than 14 months ago. So I think it can provide a little bit of tailwind, but you still have the other problem, and that's affordability. Because of all the easy money, because of all the printing money, because of keeping rates down at zero for too long, affordability is still in the trees right now, very tough to buy things. So I think it helps maybe a wee bit. I'm not so sure much. And as I've said to you, Neil, watching the job market like a hawk. With everything that else is going on, if we really start to see serious job loss and we start to see unemployment in the 4s and the 5s, then we're going to be talking deep recession. And that is my real worry right now, that we're on the way there, meaning we're already on that road and it's going to be very tough to stop it. I hope I am completely wrong, but I've seen this before. I've studied history, and with the taking away of the liquidity that provided so much, push for so long from central banks, that's certainly going to provide serious headwinds going forward, unfortunately.
All right. You laid it out there, gentlemen. I appreciate it from both of you. Have a good day, a good weekend, a good Christmas if I don't get to see you again.